Whitechapel is a labyrinth of history, of shadows and secrets. And here I am, the author, standing in the very spot where Jack the Ripper stalked his prey. Now this isn't a story that I can tell you in a few minutes. This is a journey through the heart of darkness, a walk with the ghosts of the past. So hold on tight, because we're about to enter the shadowlands of London's most notorious killer. But why am I here? Because history books don't tell the whole story. They don't echo with the screams of victims or the clatter of police boots on cobbles. To truly understand Jack, I have to breathe the air of Whitechapel, feel the chill of its fog-laden nights. It's a quest that's been 19 years in the making, ever since I started working on a book about Jack the Ripper. I've pored over every police report, every newspaper clipping, but paper only holds so much. I need the streets, the air, the silence between the gaslights. I'm a historian, but here I'm a student, a pupil of the past. It's almost midnight, and my journey starts in an unlikely place, Aldgate East Tube Station. Now, if you're visiting Whitechapel today, it might seem normal, maybe a bit shabby, but tonight, it's a portal. As I descend the stairs, it's like stepping into another era. The tunnels, dim oil, lamp lighting, the platforms echoing vastness. There's a shiver here, the same one that ran down the spines of commuters in 1888. The steam engine pulls away, leaving me alone with the hiss of escaping steam and the rumble of the oncoming night. Above, London's restless pulse beats louder, but here it's a muffled drum. Now I'm in the belly of the beast, ready to surface in the fog-choked streets of Whitechapel. When the train arrives, I step out onto the cold pavement, clutching my leather satchel close. Inside, hundreds of pages of photocopied case files rustled quietly. The air is damp, smelling of rain and coal smoke. Above, a thin moon peeks through heavy clouds. It's the sort of night that swallows light and sound, the perfect hunting ground for a shadow. In my hand, a small notebook tightens its grip. I find myself gripping it like a lifeline. All these years I've studied Jack the Ripper from afar, scanning documents in archives, poring over faded photographs, each crease and smudge telling their silent stories. But here, in the heart of Whitechapel, under skies that haven't changed in over a century, they come alive. Bucks Row is quiet, too quiet. I walk slowly, trying to match the steps I am taking with the ones she took on that fateful night of August 31st, 1888. In front of me, Mary Ann Nichols, Jack's first canonical victim, stands frozen in time. She walks along the row, heading home after a night of selling her body. On a cobbled street, where gas lamps cast long dancing shadows, a drunk lurches past, his words slurring into the night. The sounds of Whitechapel weave together, creating a symphony of noise. Carriage wheels rumbled over the stones, mingling with the shouts of street vendors and the murmur of late-night The stench of stale waste hangs heavy in the air, mixing with the sweet aroma of a nearby bakery. It's a sensory assault, a brutal awakening that brings me closer to the world Mary Ann knew so well. Suddenly, a flicker of movement catches my eye. A cat slinks across the path, disappearing into the gloom. The darkness deepens, pressing in on all sides. And in the distance, a dog barks, its sound echoing in the narrow confines of the alley. This is Bucks Row, the place where Jack's bloody legend began. The moon is almost hidden now, leaving me in near darkness. I pull my coat tighter around me, seeking warmth in its folds. My fingers tighten around the worn leather strap of my satchel. Inside, the crinkle of papers echoes like whispers in a tomb. The air is thick with anticipation, a heavy blanket woven with fear and foreboding. The sound of a door slamming somewhere behind me sends a jolt through my frame. I turn, half expecting to see a shadowy figure silhouetted against the dim glow of a nearby lamp. But there's nothing, only the darkness seems to deepen, pressing in on all sides. Then I see it, etched in fading paint above me. The words "Beware of the dog" serve as a chilling reminder of the lurking dangers of the night. Suddenly, the air shifts, becoming colder, heavier. It's as if the spirits of the past have gathered, drawn by my presence. I inhale sharply, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. In this dimly lit corner of Whitechapel, reality blurs with history. Each shadow seems to writhe and twist, taking on a life of its own. The cobblestones beneath my feet feel slick, treacherous. I start realizing that my hand is shaking. It is a physical manifestation of the fear that has been gripping me since I arrived in this forsaken place. And then I hear it, a low growl that seems to emanate from the very bowels of the earth. It's guttural, menacing, and it sends a fresh wave of terror crashing over me. My eyes dart around, searching for the source of the sound. I half expect to see a snarling beast emerge from the gloom, teeth-bared eyes gleaming with primal hunger, but there's nothing. Only the darkness seems to deepen, pressing in on all sides. My breath catches in my throat. Is this a trick of the light? A figment of my imagination? Or is there something truly sinister lurking in the shadows? Hanbury Street, where Hannie Chapman met her demise, is bustling even at this late hour. Shopgirls giggle as they hurry home, their voices ringing out in the narrow street. The smell of frying fish and chips drifts from a nearby stall, mingling with the pungent odor of stale waste. It's a stark contrast to the horrors that unfolded here on September 1888. That night, Jack the Ripper's shadow fell upon Annie Chapman as she walked alone, seeking shelter in the dimly lit archway of Hanbury Street. Here, beneath the indifferent gaze of gaslights, he attacked. His knife flashing in the dim light, he dealt a fatal blow, silencing her screams forever. The thought of such violence erupting in this seemingly ordinary place sends a chill down my spine. I pulled my coat tighter, seeking solace in its folds, as I imagined the terror that must have gripped Annie in her final moments. Suddenly, a group of boisterous men stumbles past, their laughter echoing off the brick walls. It's jarring, a stark reminder of the world that existed alongside Jack's grim deeds. As I continue my walk, the weight of history presses down on me, making it hard to breathe. With each step, I feel the echoes of the past, the whispers of forgotten lives. And not just walking the streets of Whitechapel, I'm treading on hallowed, haunted ground. Berners Street is quiet now, a hushed hush that amplifies the beating of my own heart. It's here in the stillness that the enormity of what happened to Elizabeth Stride hits me. This peaceful street was the backdrop for one of Jack the Ripper's most brutal acts. Imagine being Elizabeth, walking alone on the foggy streets of Whitechapel, unaware that danger lurks just around the corner. On October 1888, as the gaslights flickered overhead, casting long, eerie shadows, Jack's gaze fell upon her. His knife flashed in the dim light, ending her life abruptly. The realization that such horror unfolded here, that a life was extinguished in this very spot, leaves me shaken. It's a sobering reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the most unsuspecting places. As I continue my walk, the silence of the night seems to amplify the echoes of Elizabeth's footsteps. Every creak of a floorboard, every sigh of the wind sends a shiver down my spine. The shadows dance and twist, taking on a life of their own. I can almost hear the whispers of the past, the chilling murmur of a bygone era. I stopped suddenly, my heart pounding in my chest. A low, guttural growl echoes through the stillness of the night. My breath hitches in my throat. Is it a stray animal, a figment of my imagination, or something more sinister? My eyes dart around, searching for the source of the sound. Fear, cold and paralyzing, grips me. Is it the ghost of one of Jack's victims, forever trapped in this spectral labyrinth? Or is there a more tangible menace lurking in the shadows, a predator waiting to pounce? And then I see it, a pair of eyes gleaming in the darkness, a hulking shape emerging from the gloom. My blood runs cold as I realize the growling sound has grown louder. I take off running, my feet pounding on the pavement, my heart threatening to burst out of my chest. Behind me, the sound of heavy footsteps pursues me relentlessly. I dare not look back. I can hear the creature gaining on me, its breath's hot on my neck. Adrenaline pumps through my veins, urging me to flee. But where can I hide? Who can save me now? In the flickering gaslight of Mitre Square, I find Catherine Eden. Her story is the darkest of them all. On September 30th, 1888, she walked alone, a shadow among shadows. When Jack's evil found her in this very square, the Ripper didn't just kill that night. He mutilated, disemboweled. He defaced his victim. He wanted not just to end a life, but to obliterate any trace of humanity. The thought of such brutality sends shivers down my spine. Even today, Mitre Square feels wrong. Too narrow, too enclosed by dark brick walls, too silent. It's hard to imagine Catherine's cries echoing here, her blood staining the cobblestones, and yet they did. As I stand here, reading the witness testimony of the night watchman, I hear it again, the faint sound of footsteps. Behind me, I freeze. Are they coming for me? Slowly, I turn. Nothing. Only fog curling through the alley like pale fingers. But the feeling of dread remains, clinging to me like a shroud. By now, it's late into the night. The darkness is a living thing, pressing in on all sides, and I'd make my way to 10 Bells, the pub where the victims once drank. Now, a macabre tourist trap, sitting by the window, pint in hand. I opened the police report one last time. Royal conspiracy, lunatic, doctor, immigrant butcher, or was Jack a woman? I reread Inspector Abelin's final note. I know who he is, but he never told. And as I watched the empty street outside, I realized what he saw all those years ago, what he knew and what we still don't. The darkness is deepening now, and with it, my unease grows. I think back on the murders, on the trail of blood and shadows, and I wonder, did he ever stop killing? Did he vanish into the Whitechapel fog only to strike again elsewhere? Or is it possible that Jack the Ripper isn't one man, but many? That the evil that haunts Whitechapel isn't bound by flesh and bone, but born of the darkness in us all? I finished my drink, my gaze lingering on the cobblestones. I can still hear the echoes of that night, the shuffle of feet, the scrape of boots, the distant rumble of carriages, and as I turn to go, I feel a presence beside me, a breath on my neck. I'm not alone. Not anymore. With that chilling thought, I fled, the echo of footsteps drumming in my ears, chasing me through the winding streets of Whitechapel. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The terror of knowing I wasn't alone was enough. I ran until I reached the relative safety of my hotel room, the door locked firmly behind me. Safe at last, I sank to the floor, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The darkness of Whitechapel had seeped into my bones, the echo of footsteps imprinted on my soul. As I lay there, the silence seemed deafening, broken only by the frantic beat of my heart. Was it real or imagined? Had I truly encountered something from the abyss? As the first rays of sunlight pierced the gloom, I knew I wouldn't forget this night. The darkness of Whitechapel had woven its way into my being, a chilling reminder that some nightmares aren't meant to be woken from. So remember this tale when you wander through the maze of Whitechapel, where the past lingers and the shadows dance. For the darkness of this place doesn't just belong to the fog and the cobblestones, it belongs to us all. And sometimes it finds its voice in the echoes of footsteps, forever haunting the streets of Whitechapel.